Oh! Didn't see you there. I was leveling a class. Well, what are we waiting for? Come on in. Now, since I already covered how to monetize your level 80 gameplay, I figured I'd come at you with some tips and tricks as to how to do the same while leveling or playing through the game for the first time on a character so that you might hit the ground running when you finally hit 80. For this video, we will be focusing on how to maximize your time to Gil plus experience ratio while leveling, rather than just a time to Gil or time to experience ratios. As always, I will mostly consider methods easily available while advancing through the plot and various zones, with the focus on methods that are available at most any point in the game. Requirements. Starting off, in order to employ the methods I will cover in this video, you're going to want 1. To own a version of Final Fantasy XIV, seeing as free players have limited access to the market board and in-game trading as long as they remain on the free trial. 2. A retainer, which you can get by completing the quest An Ill-Conceived Venture, which can be started in the market districts in Ul'dah, Gridania, or Limsa Lominsa, so that you can get a retainer that can not only sell your items on the market board, but also go on ventures and retrieve items for you. 3. Have reached a rank of Sergeant 2nd class with the Grand Company. This can be done by tuning in a grand total of 27,000 Grand Company seals to your respective Grand Company and applying for promotions when you hit the turn-in limit for each rank. While this is somewhat optional to this guide, it is a nice way to make a bit of extra gil by unlocking expert delivery missions to turn in your unwanted green and blue gear for Grand Company seals. The basics. So what do we want to keep in mind as we try to build our little pile of gil? There are namely two main things to keep in mind. First off, you want to mitigate your expenses. Any gil you do not have to spend is a gil you can count as part of your fortune. This means that instead of buying gear on a market board, you can use a class-specific gear you get from dungeons, quests, and that which you can buy with Poetics. There isn't a lot of early content that is really going to push you hard if you're a few item levels short, so staying maxed out every level isn't going to be necessary, and you should be good with just the aforementioned pickups. Secondly, you're going to want to focus on one class in order to get to that point where you can go through the game, while selling or turning in other gears and items you find during your adventures, unless you plan on using them for glamours or a class that you plan on leveling soon. A cluttered inventory rarely do you any favors. So how do we facilitate this? Well, let's first look at what you can do during your regular game progression. Story progression. As you go through the various main story quests, you're going to be rewarded with gear, Allegan coin pieces, materia, and various foods, often being given a choice between a set of possible rewards. Based on ease of sale and value, your priority should be 1. Gear and gear coffers, 2. Platinum Allegan pieces, 3. Materia grade 7 or higher, 4. Gold Allegan pieces, 5. Food, 6. Other materia, and 7. Bronze and silver Allegan pieces. Typically, gear and gear coffers, as well as grade 7 or higher materia, sells well at a decent price, and Allegan coins can be sold directly to vendors for their exact value, with platinum coins being worth 10,000 and gold coins being worth 2,500. Foods and lower grade materia are very much hit or miss, since they are typically in lower demand with far less practical use, but might go for more than bronze and silver Allegan pieces. Also, keep in mind that when you use a piece of equipment, it will be bonded to you and it can no longer be traded or sold, but it can still be turned into your Grand Company for Grand Company seals. Furthermore, whenever you get a gear coffer, it will give you gear based on the class you open it on, so if you're leveling, for example, a white mage, but don't need a gear from the coffer, and see that striking gear is selling well, you might want to quickly pick up a level 1 pugilist or rogue in order to open it on them, seeing as the level of the coffer remains fixed regardless of the level of the class you open it on, but the kind of gear it gives is dependent on the class you open it as. Dungeons and instances. By far the greatest experience per time spent is achieved by doing the various instance duties the game has to offer. You're going to have to do some of these during the story, and they also feature heavily in the daily roulettes. During these instances, you will often see gear drop in the form of green or blue graded gear, which will often improve an upgrade to your gear if you're doing it around its intended level, or it can give you a decent amount of Grand Company seals if you turn them in instead, so make sure to need and greed when you can. Keep in mind, however, that other players might also need these items to gear up, so if they let you know that they need a particular piece that you do not, it doesn't hurt to show some consideration. Grand Company seals can in turn be spent on venture tokens, gear, and material, which in turn can be used or sold. I covered Grand Company's seal to Gil conversion more closely in my quick guide to Making Gil, which I will link down in the description below. Daily roulettes can be found in the opening tab of your duty finder, and are various playlists consisting of the instances you completed that offer a daily bonus reward upon completion. The Gil, Experience, and Grand Company seals depend upon class level, but should still reward a decent amount regardless. Tomestones of Poetics are rewarded equally for all levels. In terms of typical difficulty and time reward ratio, I recommend doing the leveling roulettes and trials, which you will unlock as you go through the game. I also recommend doing alliance raids, which, while technically optional until patch 5.3 Shadowbringers, at which point you will have to have done the Crystal Tower raids, gives good reward for its endeavors. Furthermore, if you do not mind putting in some extra time for a huge reward, also do the main scenario roulette. Other activities. Occasionally, you will find yourself hitting a level wall in a regular story progression, while also waiting for your dungeon queue to pop. This might be an especially familiar feeling if you're playing a DPS class. Whenever this happens, you might just want to lean back and rest on your laurels, stretch, hydrate, go to the bathroom and so on, because self-care is important. However, if you still want to gun on that efficiency, doing side quests in areas close to your level for the potential gear rewards is a good idea. Alternatively, almost every area has Leve Quests tied to them. Leve Quests are essentially non-instance overworld duties that sets you out with specific tasks like gathering items, killing enemies, or defending an NPC. These quests will reward you with experience as well as a mix of gil and items. Leve Quests work in brackets of 5, from 10 to 14, 15 to 19, and so on. After picking up a Leve Quest, you go to the designated location on the map and start it from your journal. At this point, you can adjust the level of the Leve within the 5 level range, up to a total of +4, which can increase the rewards you get. You get a first time bonus for first time completion of a Leve, and being in one doesn't require you to leave your duty queue, nor does it stop you from accepting once the queue pops. However, as a word of advice, I rarely find the escort leaves to be worth the time and effort, so unless you really want a first time bonus for them, I would stay away from those in particular. Another activity you could swing by if they pop up close to you are fates. These are also non-instance overworld activities, often with simpler goals and objectives. Participation will see off its scaled amounts of experience as well as Gil and Grand Company seals, yielding a higher reward if the fate is completed successfully, and scaling further the higher your contribution is. The Marketboard. Finally, with all of the above in mind, you should be sitting on a veritable trove of turn-ins and sellable items. Whenever you're confident in your gear, you can start using Grand Company seals and Poetics on items to sell, but keep in mind that Poetics can buy level 50, level 60 and level 70 gear. Before spending all your hard-earned tokens, make sure to scout the Marketboard a little to see what sells well, and then put your retainers to work. When putting up items for sale, there are a few general rules of thumb that you want to keep in mind. 1. Do not sell items for less than they can be sold to a vendor for. When hovering over your intended item, there should be a line stating the vendor selling price. Furthermore, when issuing an item for your retainer to sell, you will also see an option to check the Marketboard prices for that item. 2. Do not cut prices too much. While having the lowest price is a nice way to stay on top of the Marketboard, getting into a price war will harm everybody's profit over time. 3. Sell bulk items in stacks of 10 to 20, as slapping an entire 99 stack out there might deter some buyers. Furthermore, gear such as chest pieces, weapons, accessories and such can be a special case, seeing as some items will be more heavily saturated than others and prices might seem inflated in certain cases. At this point, a good idea is to click on the Sales History tab and see the prices the items are sold for recently, as they are a more accurate signifier of what potential buyers are willing to pay. Following the steps above as applicable, you should be able to make at least 1.5 to 3 million gil by the time you reach level 80 in your main quest progression, or otherwise hit positive numbers if you're leveling an additional class. It is a very solid starting point that can see you off with some fun goodies, or if you want to go the path of a crafter gatherer, can let you build up a suit of leveling gear that can be shared across your various crafters and gatherers for an even greater profit. Hopefully, this guide has been able to help you. As always, I appreciate you coming along for the video. If you like what you've seen and want more, remember to like and subscribe, and post any thoughts, comments, and questions down in the comment section below. I wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Have a nice one!